from 9 now.
You're listening to the Radio Wammo Breakfast, only on Kiwi.
Yeah, let's talk politics with Phil Goff, leader of the Labour Party. Good morning to you, Phil.
Yeah, good morning, Wammo.
Now, you were involved in a bit of protest action yesterday.
Yeah. Well, on Saturday, actually, we had a big rally of, probably 500-700 bikers turned up at Telstra Clear in Manukau, protesting, as you'd expect them to, about the just unprecedented and enormous increase in ACC levies. Going to go up by $500, according to the government's reckoning on that. Most of us think that is totally unreasonable. I pointed out when I was at the rally, I've been riding bikes since I was 15 years old. That means more than 40 years. Never had a claim on ACC. I got a farm bike. I got a far greater chance, statistically, of having an accident on the farm bike, but I pay no levy at all on that. I got a push bike. Again, if I have an accident on the push bike, I'm more likely to be more seriously injured than on the motorbike, but I pay no levy at all on that. So why is it that the government has it down on the motorcyclists, particularly since, it means less petrol consumption, less pollution, less congestion, and actually, the only time that I had a really serious accident on a motorbike was when a car pulled out straight in front of me, and I think the stats would show you that most of the big accidents involving motorbikes are caused by cars not seeing the bike, and that's not the biker's fault.
Well, the stats are interesting, and I'm afraid I don't have them in front of me, but there is still a significant number of crashes that are caused by motorcyclists.
Yeah, that is true. I think it's bull what the head of ACC has been saying, that motor car drivers are subsidising motorcyclists to the tune of $77 a head. That would mean that you're spending well over $200 million on motorbike accidents, and ACC says it's only 69, so there's a fair amount of exaggeration of figures. But the truth is, Wammo, this is a no-fault system. If we're going to make it a fault system, first of all, you and I as guys would be paying 3 times as much as women for any form of ACC, because that's the accident rate. Yeah. Secondly, as we get older, we'd be charged higher levies for getting older, because older people have a lot of falls. Nobody believes that should happen. If you're a pedestrian or a cyclist, you'd be paying levies as well. We'd even be charging kids for playing sport, because they've got more chance of injury playing rugby on the field or league or whatever than they are if they sit at home and become a couch potato. Now, if you want to have a user-pay system, by all means, put that up as a proposal. I'd be against it, because I think it's unfair and it's wrong. I think the no-fault comprehensive ACC scheme is a better one. So let's stop beating up on the bikers and giving them a hard time, unless you're going to follow through and you're going to treat everybody equally on a user-pays basis. Do you
think though that there should be levies on off-road vehicles?
Well, if you're going to run it on a user-pays basis, I guess you would. I know that I've got a ATV, four-wheel farm bike. I know that the accident rates on those are horrific. People tend to treat them, I guess, with too much disrespect. There's a high fatality rate, particularly with kids. But we don't pay separate levies on those bikes because we don't have to register them. My farm bike never goes on the road. But look, I'm against it being on a user pays basis for this. The no-fault system was designed as exactly that. It's designed to give every New Zealander who had an accident coverage, and yes, we've got to contribute towards it. But the government's pretense that this is, that the whole thing is in a total crisis. ACC's got $11 billion worth of assets. Every year, they now cover the costs of not only treating the accident that happens that year for that year, but through the whole lifetime of the accident. We've still got a tail of previous accidents that aren't covered in that way, but we can provide the funding for that over a period of time. We don't have to do it immediately and put huge levies on people at a time when the recession is still having its effect on people's living standards.
Just looking at a picture of you on Saturday, you're sitting on your bike. Is it a Triumph, is it?
Triumph Bonneville, 850, 865 actually. It's
What year?
That's a 2007. I won't make any comments about the media not getting their facts right, but they mucked that up. But no, it's a second-hand bike. I've traditionally been an English bike rider. Had a Norton Commando for 20 years, and just picked this up with a view to spending a bit of time at Christmas with a few of my parliamentary colleagues driving around the Coromandel in the Bay of Plenty.
There's a few other bikers, is there?
Oh, yeah. Annette King, her husband Ray is a real keen biker. He's got a Kawasaki 650. Leanne Dalzell's husband, he's got a number of bikes. Rick Barker, of course, has got that big beast, a 2.3 litre Rocket 3 Triumph.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Are there any National Party bikers?
I don't know, to tell you the truth. It seems to be a bit of a Labor Party thing, actually.
So you reckon you've cornered the motorcycle vote?
Well, I don't know about that, but I do know that there are a hell of a lot of angry bikers there. These were guys. It was organised by the Ulysses Club, so they're not all 22-year-olds. Most of them actually in their 50s, and in fact, I think you got to be 40 to join the Ulysses Club.
Right.
But they feel. I was talking to a guy actually. It was taken me to a function on Sunday yesterday down in Wellington. Works for the government driving service. He's got 6 classic motorbikes. That's going to cost him another $3,000 a year in ACC levies. But he rightly points out he doesn't ride them all at once. He's only ever riding them one at a time. But it's going to make it pretty impossible for him as a classic motorbike collector to actually register all his bikes. I mean, he'll have to leave them in the garage. You just simply don't pay that sort of money. 300% increase.
If these changes are going to go through, do you think there'll be some civil disobedience, that motorcyclists just won't register their vehicles?
Well, I think a lot of bikers, frankly, and I mean, I'm not advocating it, but I know the reality of it. If you've got half a dozen bikes, are you going to register every one of them, or are people going to be tempted to say, well, I'll switch the number plates when I'm using one of the other bikes? Now, I'm not advocating that. That's illegal. It's against the law. But if people feel that they're being treated unjustly, they will find ways around that system. And I think that bikers do feel that they are being treated unfairly. And I think the government just got to think again. There has never been an increase in our history that's been an increase of 300%. Currently I pay $250 for my motorbike levy. That's going to go up to $735. That's more than I pay for my comprehensive insurance on the bike.
What am I going to be paying? Because I've got a 150cc.
You'll be still paying double. You'll be paying over 500 because if you're over 125cc, the levy rate will double. And again, that's unreasonable. I mean, you're riding around on your bike, you don't cause congestion, you don't cause pollution, you're very economic in your fuel usage, but the government seems to want to price you off the road for the privilege of riding your bike, and I think that's wrong.
Hey, just before you go, Phil, you're about to leave on a plane, aren't you? You're heading off to Samoa. Yeah,
just going up actually this afternoon to 2 days in Samoa and 2 days in Tonga. Basically to touch base in both of those countries with how their recovery plans and rehabilitation plans are going after the tsunami, but also to talk to them about some of the wider issues that are important, getting a free trade area in the Pacific, dealing with the problem of global warming, because, in the Pacific they don't cause much pollution, not much global gas emitted there, but they'll be the key casualties of the rising sea level. And just making contact with the communities and their leaders with an acknowledgement of the important role that Tongan and Samoan people play in my electorate and in our communities. Are
you doing any work for the government while you're there?
Yeah, I'm working in with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade. I mean, generally when I'm going abroad, it's not a partisan thing that you're doing. You try to go abroad as New Zealand Incorporated. I spent 9 days in the States at a forum, and then working with the government, promoting New Zealand trade interests in the United States. Even from the position of opposition, if I can do something to help New Zealand, I'm going to do that. I'm not going over there to bag the government. What I might come back with is a few different ideas that I'd want to share with the government ministers, which I'd either do privately or publicly, depending on the nature of the issue. But it's important that we maintain our links with a couple of communities that are really important with the family and cultural links that we have in the Pacific and New Zealand here.
Well, best of luck on that journey, and we'll talk to you when you get back next week.
Okay, and join us on this bike ride down to Wellington, Wammo, and protest about those unfair increases that you'll be paying as well, mate.
Sounds like fun. When's that happening?
That's happening on the 16th and 17th. I probably won't have the time off work, actually, unfortunately, to ride down with the bikers, but I'll certainly be meeting with them in Wellington.
Most of them will be driving something larger than 150cc.
Hey, listen, we respect all bikers, regardless of the size of their motorbikes. Hey, there's a lot more of those scooters around, and that's a good way of getting around for people, saving money and, doing away with the problem of congestion in the city as well.
Yeah. Thanks very much, Phil. Cheers.
Okay, thanks very much. Cheers, mate.
See ya. Phil Goff, leader